go to Twitter again. Did I never tweet it? Thought I tweeted it. There we go. Cool. We gonna read some creepy things. Some creepy things. I got my dwang. Yeah. I think this is better suited than the other one. Am I going the right way? Yep. Okay. Liked and retweeted. Thank you. Just gonna wait for another person or so, and we're gonna get started reading some spooky, spooky stories, New Year's Eve related. I have no idea if these are gonna be good, but I wanted to do it anyway, so let's do that. Da 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 da. I like how everybody out there, my family really doesn't give a shit about New Year's because like they're all upstairs watching TV. It's all dark outside. I'll be doing this for New Year's, I guess. I think my phone's dead. Shit. Think. Liked and retweeted. Thank you. There she is. Denise in the flesh. Yeah, we're gonna be doing some creepy story readings. Got the countdown up top here for the New Year's. Yay. It's gonna be good. So keep watching that up there. So we got about a half hour of my time until it's New Year's for me. So let's get started. We're gonna do some creepy spooky stories. What I should do. Yeah. No. Desktop. And music for videos. We're gonna put some music in the background here as well, I guess. Let's find one that's long. I think Sightless Sonder has a long one somewhere. One of these is like really long and I can't remember which one it is. 29 minutes. Perfect. Excuse me. Just getting some music ready for the stories. Perfect. Alright, so the first one. Why are you getting so loud? Stop getting so loud! It's scary. Alright. Got some nice ambiance in the background. I'm gonna turn that down because it's really loud for me. Alright. Don't keep getting louder on me. Sorry, I'm just saying. Alright. So we got bookmarks. Alright, so we got this one. Oh no, it closed it. Open, 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 open. Come on. I know. I already did, but it's not. Okay. I know why so many people commit suicide on New Year's, and it's terrifying. Let's do this. I got all New Year's themed stories, so. I usually spend every New Year's celebration at home with a bottle of liquor as my only dependable company. Last year I was doing just that while binge-watching Supernatural. I remember checking my phone to see what time it was. 11:57 p.m. By then my vision was blurring, and I was well on my way to my tradition of getting shit-faced for the New Year. My family had told me for years that they were concerned. They said I spent too much time alone and that I needed to get out and just do something. Suicide had come to mind numerous times over the years due to the shit that life throws your way. Multiple failed relationships, jobs that went nowhere, and the possibility of good things that just blew up in your face. It all takes a toll on your mental health after time. Last year was no exception. I had found out a few months before that my girlfriend had cheated multiple times and also told the other about it. Oh, and she also thought it was particularly hilarious, making crude remarks like he's so stupid that he can't even tell what's going on. I drink more. It was out of the corner of my blurry vision that I saw a black figure standing by my door. I tried to focus, but I was too deep in the bottle to do that. I just saw this out of focus, black, human-shaped thing. Do it. You know you want to. You know none of this is worth it. You know life is pointless and that none of this matters. Why not do it? Nobody loves you. Nobody cares about you. Not even Carrie. She never loved you. Never cared about you. And you're just going to repeat the same mistakes for the rest of your life, so why bother? The voice said that was deep and gravelly, sounding a bit distant, like a radio on the verge of cutting off. While the voice spoke, I felt the energy drain out of me and paralysis set in. I can remember mumbling back, "Yeah, you're right, it doesn't matter. I should just kill myself and end it." "How about a knife? The one on the counter over there. Looks sharp enough and should end your pathetic life in no time." "Yes," I replied. At this point, I felt like I was in a dream and that I had no control over my actions. I shuffled into the kitchen, grabbed the knife, and plunged it into my wrist. I woke up in the hospital. My friend Colin had come over, and because he had the key, he was able to get in. He found me on the kitchen floor in a puddle of blood. He was a night shift nurse at a nearby hospital, and his quick thinking saved my life. I was later admitted to a psych ward with my cooperation. I thought I had gone completely mental. They diagnosed me with having whoa, that fucking word. Schizoaffective disorder with severe depression. I spent the next 2 months rebuilding myself mentally, and came out feeling reinvigorated. It was around Halloween that I was browsing around Reddit and found a post called "What is the creepiest phenomenon with no explanation?" I'm very much into the supernatural and believe its most spiritual beliefs about the afterlife, demons and ghosts, but I'm not religious. I saw a reply to the post with a link that said, "How about the mass amount of people that committed suicide on New Year's, and the survivors claim to see a tall black figure telling them to do it? Here's a link for proof of the phenomenon." Chills covered my body as I felt my muscles twitch, the memory of the events of that night come back. The black figure, the commands it gave, the way it wanted me to kill myself or sacrifice myself. I posted this question to the post. What does it want? Someone replied, "Well, from what I can gather, it's been talked about for centuries amongst various cultures, in one form or another. An otherworldly spirit that comes back once a year to gather souls, to fill itself for another year. Like a soul-eating bear back to hibernation." This is when I went down the rabbit hole of Google and researched more into this thing. About 25 pages back, I found a result that was close to what I was looking for. It was on an independent paranormal research group's website, which I will keep anonymous, and the article answered many questions that I had. The earliest mention went back to Roman times. It was oh man, this is going to be rough. And it was referred to as Tenebris, written as a name, not a description. and Tenebris translated from Latin meaning darkness. Tenebris was said to appear at winter solstice, and convinced the entire legion, which I found was 5,000 legionnaires, to rush off a high cliff while they were pursuing a German army. And nearly all of them had died. Julius Caesar found out and demanded a massive sacrifice back in Rome, written by him as to appease the beast Tenebris. A few days later, I went back to the Reddit post and saw dozens of people who had commented saying they had seen Tenebris. I messaged a few of them and started a group chat on Discord. The number grew over 250 by December 1st. We all had similar experiences. One guy was walking on the sidewalk in New York City when he saw a figure in an alleyway, and the overwhelming urge to leap in front of a taxi built up, but he was able to fight it off. Another man was on a cruise ship and saw a dark figure in the water, demanding that he jump overboard to be with it, which he also did. He said he had 1 foot over the rails when an attendant grabbed him seconds before he could leap. A woman who was suffering from heroin addiction, who nearly coaxed into taking a lethal dose by a shadow man. They all sound a little familiar, right? I had no idea what to do about it, but it is real. I've seen it, and I'm terrified it will come back this New Year's. It's a few days before New Year's, and I'm already starting to feel it. I haven't moved from this couch in days, and there's plenty of alcohol. It usually hits hard this time of year, as it is just a reminder of how lonely I am. Colin is out of state with his family this year, and the rest of my friends are also preoccupied. So much for that. I guess I'll sulk around my apartment, you know, to keep the tradition alive. That one was alright, I guess. It did what it had to do. It said what it had to say, I think. It wasn't great, but it's good. It's good, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know. Ugh, I'm gonna stretch. Hell yeah. "20 minutes till 2019. Wowzers. Should probably pause that so I have more time to talk with it. You liked it? That's good. I have 2 more under my belt here. I suppose we can just keep reading, I guess. Not much else to do. No, I'm not. Don't lie to me. Drinky boys. See, I told you I'd have a drink with you, and look, you're able to talk to me while doing it. Crazy. After the live stream, I'm probably going to watch some more Black Mirror. Watch the episodes I haven't seen yet. Ow! Here's stretch. Alright. What did I just knock over? It was a ghost. The ghost of New Year's past. Alright. Let's do this. Alright. Just gotta get all comfies and stuff. The new year won't be new for me. 2018 has been the worst year of my life. I found out my girlfriend of 2 years has been cheating on... What is with all these New Year shit with people cheating on them? I mean, that's what happened with my girlfriend on the last New Year's that happened. I broke up with her. It was toxic, but I'll be watching Supernatural. What's funny is I tried to get into Supernatural, and it wasn't the fact that I couldn't get into it. It's the fact that I knew there's like 11 seasons that I had to get through, and I'm like, that's a lot. I don't know if I want to do that, but I've been trying to convince myself because my grandma and my uncle watch it a lot and they love it. So maybe I'll get into it. I have a lot of time on my hands, so I'll give it a shot, I guess, tomorrow. Tonight I want to do Black Mirror. That'll be my New Year's resolution. I have to finish Supernatural. I mean, it's on Netflix. It's not like it's going to be hard. Anyways, let's get into it. 2018 has been the worst year of my life. I found out my girlfriend of 2 years has been cheating on me. I was fired from my job. My dog was kidnapped. My best friend died in a car crash. Worst of all, however, is that this will be the 8th time I've lived through 2018. I'll start for the first time. It was just before midnight on New Year's Eve. I was alone, of course. I'm not a religious person, but after the horrible year I experienced, I was ready to try anything. I prayed to any god that would listen. I wished that I would never have to experience another year like 2018. Either the god that listened to me as a sadist or a demon heard my plea instead. Instead of granting my wish, they're making me live through the worst year of my life over and over again. The first time I experienced the time loop, I thought it was truly a gift, and not a curse. I was wrong. I woke up in my bed like any other morning, and nothing seemed different. This was until I made my way to my kitchen. I noticed that the layout of my furniture in the living room was different than it had been the night before, and then my phone began to ring. It was my girlfriend, or rather my ex-girlfriend. I had broken up with her after finding out she was sleeping around with her boss. But then why had her name come as Lover, with a heart emoji next to it? I knew I had to change that. I changed that long ago, and I ignored the call. I soon received a text message that say, "Hey baby, call me when you wake up. I wanted to tell you that I'll be home late tonight. We have to catch up from all the time off during the holidays. Love you." Was she toying with me? We'd been broken up for over 6 months now. I was about to type back an angry response when I noticed the date on the background of my phone says January 1st, 2018. Was this some sort of glitch? Had my phone possibly reverted to an earlier date? There was one way to test it. I called my dead friend Ricky. Ricky had died in a drunk driving accident. He wasn't the one drinking, but it didn't matter. He had gone out by himself one night for a late taco trip, but he would never come home. The phone rang a few times before someone picked up on the other side. "Bro, you know how much I drank last night. Why the fuck are you calling me this early?" The voice on the other end said. "Ricky?" "No, it's Santa Claus. Of course it's me. You're the one that called me." I almost dropped my phone in shock. I was unmistakably his voice and attitude. He was alive again. Was I really in 2018 again? I quickly apologized to him for calling so early, and I hung up the phone. I ran back to my room to see my other best friend lying at the foot of my bed. I had groggily walked past him when I woke up. It was my golden retriever, Apollo. He'd been stolen from me the previous year. Someone had broken into my home while I was at work. They took everything of value, including my dog. I basically jumped on it with excitement. He was confused at first, but after a few seconds he began to play back. This was like a dream come true. I was given the opportunity to fix the worst year of my life. Except I wasn't. I marked down the date that each terrible event occurred, determined to reverse fate. First would be fixing my relationship. I became the best boyfriend imaginable. Even Hallmark movies had nothing on me. I began to take my girlfriend on date after date to anywhere she wanted. I was surprised her with flowers every chance I got. I loved her with everything I had, but it wasn't enough. No matter how many times I lived through 2018, she always cheats. No matter how hard I try, it never matters. Well, I guess you can't change a person after all. Perhaps this was a sign I was better off without her anyway. So I moved on to focusing on preventing Apollo from being kidnapped. I upgraded the security in my home. I added cameras, sensors, anything to stop what I knew would happen. I even stayed home the day he went missing to make certain he would stay with me. But once again, it didn't matter. Despite my efforts, my dog gets kidnapped every 2018. If I stay home with him the original day he went missing, then he disappears the next day. I tried bringing him almost everywhere with me, but the moment I leave him for 5 minutes, he's gone. I could still save Ricky though, right? Even if I lost everyone else, even if I could just save Ricky, I could still be a little bit happy. We had grown up together, and his death stacked upon the rest of my year had driven me to the brink of suicide. I couldn't follow through with it. but it was the closest I had ever come to death myself. The night Ricky died, I had been alone. No, sorry. The night Ricky died, he had been alone. So I went to his house that night instead. I brought tacos with me, so there would be no need for a trip out. Ricky lived for about a week. He was once again hit by a drunk driver. Once again, nothing I do even matters. Every year I try to save Ricky, and every year he dies. The only way I could see saving him is if I tied him up and locked him in my basement, but I don't think I could do that. I imagine after this New Year's Eve I'll once again wake up in 2018. I'm writing this in hopes that it somehow makes it to 2019, and maybe someone out there can help me. I just want 2018 to be over. Now that was a good one. I like that one a lot. I love time loop shit. That's like my favorite stuff. And also, I've been taking too many gaps between drinking this, so now it's actually starting to hit me. So you can tell that it's getting harder for me to figure out how to say words without them sounding like I'm stupid. Oh, we got 11 minutes. We got 11 minutes. Dude. Ooh. That felt good. I only have 3, but I can find some more after we're done. Excellent. That was creepy. Glad I'm not stuck in the same year. That would suck, yeah. This year wasn't that bad. I would like to go back to when I was working at the kitchen. That'd be fun. That was cool. But, yeah. I guess we can go on to the next one. Bookmarks. Still getting used to this. The reason I never leave my house on New Year's Eve. Okay. Ooh, this one's a little bit long. So I didn't read any of these. I just saw them and they had good upvotes. This one might actually not be good, but I don't know. If it's not good, it's not good. I don't really care. Yeah, you know what? We'll find a new one. Let's go to Let's Not Meet. Find someone. Let's Not Meet. Maybe there's like some creepy stalker stories from New Year's. I guess not. We'll just go back to the no sleep. Okay, we'll do this one. Gotta thank Sightless Under for this great atmosphere. Alright, my New Year's resolution has changed last minute. 25 minutes and I have to go. An odd amount of time, I know, but it's honestly all I have before I head out. Get away as far as I can. I fucked up. No, that's an understatement. I not only ruined my life, but 5,000 other people as well. It started at work this morning. I work for a company that develops app games. They started recently, about 3 months ago. A buddy of mine, Jimmy, was recruited by one of the owners and heard about an easy job that would allow me to take double of what I make in sales. I'm not one of the developers, designers, or even an intern. I'm the janitor. But they still paid me well. My wife, Danny, was a little disappointed when she heard I would be cleaning for a living. But her mood changed for the better as I soon told her I'd be making a little over $4,500 a month. The job was easy. I would come into work around 8 in the morning, and by 2 in the afternoon I would be done. It's amazing how much closer I've gotten with my family because of this job. When I worked in sales, I would work 13-hour shifts, and I pretty much missed the first 2 years of my son's life. Now, with my new lighter work schedule, I've been able to get closer to Danny and my son, Ryan. He has become attached to me wherever I went. Hell, my boss even lets me bring Ryan to work on some days. He had fun hanging out with Jimmy and playing a couple of games Jimmy was working on. Life was good up until today. It started off like any other day. I woke up, took a shower, ate a light breakfast, and got to work at 7:45. Around 2:30, I was finishing up when I saw Jimmy standing behind me. He was swaying a bit, like he had a little too much to drink before coming into work. With a chuckle, I asked him if he was feeling alright, and he shook his head slowly and asked, "Where's Ryan? I haven't seen him in a long time. I have a new game I thought he would like to play." Thrown off a bit, I nervously replied, "Shit, Jimmy, he was with me the other day. You sure you're alright, man? Didn't get enough sleep last night?" He just stared at me for a couple of seconds before getting on his knees. He stretched his arms out dramatically before latching onto my legs and pleading, "Don't fucking go home. Don't leave work. Please, promise me, dude, don't fucking leave." I shook him off and quietly muttered, "I gotta finish cleaning these floors. We'll talk later." I left around 3:20, and I managed to avoid Jimmy while I was leaving. I did manage to get a quick look at him without noticing. He was softly banging his head against his desk. His lips were moving, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. I started to walk out the door when I heard a blood-curdling scream. By the time I managed to turn around back towards Jimmy, I saw him lying on the ground. Oh, hold on. Got something in my teeth. Okay. He was stabbing himself repeatedly in the midsection. Bits of intestines started to leak out of the bigger gashes. A couple of guys tried to run up on him, but before anyone could stop him, he let out a sob and started to rip the inside of his body. I don't know why, but I ran out to my car as quickly as I could and drove back home. I should have listened to his warning, but I refused to believe that my family was in any type of dangerous situation. I'm trying to zoom in here. I ran into the house to find that no one was home. I called out Danny's name, but I was only met with silence. My phone started to vibrate. Without looking at who was calling, my finger accepted the call and I heard a muffled voice in the background. I knew it was Danny. Before I could say anything, a gruff voice on the other said, "Why didn't you listen to Jimmy? If you just stayed at work, I wouldn't have to do any of this. Since you were the first to leave, you will be our second experiment. It's for a new game. We want to make it as immersive as possible. So we figured, hell, using real people in real situations would probably give us the best insight." I cut him off and begged him to let me have my family back. I told him to take me instead, but he just laughed before saying, "No, you already know you already know that's not going to happen. Get ready. Get into your closet. You will see a backpack with plenty of resources. Of course, the more accomplishments you achieve, the better prizes you get. Don't fail, or all three of you will die. You have 3 hours to get ready. Once the 3 hours are up, we will send you another call. Get in your car and drive as far away from your home as you can. The way the chances of you getting caught are less." I tried asking him why I would need to be concerned about getting caught, but he hung up. The last thing I heard before he hung up was Ryan asking where I was. That's why I only have 25 minutes. I spent an hour running through my house trying to find everything that could help me with whatever the fuck I needed to do. The next hour was spent going to the bank and taking out all the money in my account, $324. I suck at saving money. 35 minutes was getting the bag out of the closet and getting everything in my car. The bag was pretty much shit. There was $8, 2 granola bars with the word health written on it, and 3 bottles of water. Alright, I just got the warning call. It's time for me to go. It's a new year. I guess I really don't have a choice. Time for a new me. Well, we got 3 minutes and 44 seconds, so we'll wait. Talk. And I'm struggling to talk properly. It's really bad. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Pause this. Man. That was a good story. I like that. That was pretty good. I'll bookmark it so I can read it again later. before this countdown finally hits 2019, I want to thank anybody who's watching right now and thank everyone who's watching after. I had a really rough last year. It was probably one of the worst years of my life, and this year has proven to be 10 times better because I made it that way. I do hold you guys accountable for being a very good thing in my life and taking me out of the darkness and giving me this. I gotta turn this down real quick. I can't talk. Oh, it's not on fucking this. That's why. Tell I'm drunk. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for everything. Just how you guys make me feel every time I post a video. You guys make me feel like bigger than I am. Creating this channel was one of the best decisions I've ever had, and I love doing videos. It's amazing to me that I can do this and get this same feeling out of this. We got 50 seconds. 2018, the end of it anyway, was great because of you people. All of the people I've met, the people I'm going to continue to meet, and I am so happy that I get to share the end of my year with you guys and be able to spend the last 20 seconds with you guys. Here's to a new year. I can't wait to see how far we get. I'm just really excited to kick off 2019 with the most humble community I've ever been a part of. And I'm so glad to know all of you. 3, 2, 1. It's 2019. New year, new us. I gotta drink. My first shot of 2019. And the last one. I'm never drinking again. First live stream. 2019. Pretty good. Pretty cool. But yeah. That's the countdown. I guess I can get that out of here. It's so cool. Happy New Year. Happy fucking New Year. Wow. Oh, I feel tipsy. It's getting a little hard to talk properly. I'm a lightweight, alright? I don't drink, so the slightest bit of alcohol fucks with me. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah. I suppose I could read one more, and then I'm gonna head off and watch some Black Mirror, because I'm actually supposed to be at bed right now, but I love you guys too much, so, you know. We're gonna read one or two more. I don't really know. Whoa. Alright. I'm gonna read some more. My God, the fucking fireworks are so loud. I suppose we don't have to read New Year's Eve stories anymore. We just read regular ones. Ow. Oh, God damn it, I accidentally pulled my monitor out. 1 second, I can't even see what you guys are saying. I gotta stretch. Could no one hear me that whole time? Oh no, I didn't know that. Shit, I didn't know I knocked my mic out too. Alright, good thing I didn't start reading. I'm a fucking idiot. Alright, this is Sounds of Mars. I like this story a lot. NASA are not the only ones in the USA trying to send spacecrafts into space. There are plenty of unknown engineering brilliant minds attempting to, and failing, to make something break the walls of the atmosphere. Well, at least there was in my neighborhood several years ago. It was a quiet, small place with a low population. But almost half the people in it were amazing at engineering, especially things that had to do with spacecraft and rockets and all that. I can hear you for the last few minutes now. I had no idea what had drawn all these geniuses to this small town, and why they all wanted to launch their little test spaceships up into the sky in a specific part of town, the small park. But when it happened, almost all the people that lived there wanted to watch. It always failed. Everyone kept hush about those little space program we had going on here, so the government wouldn't investigate and find where we had gotten the parts or something. In late 2007, a group of 4 geniuses has gotten together to build something that would actually work, and had a little twist to go along with it. I didn't know what that twist was, but they spread the rumor of it to keep people interested. The 4 people were only the brightest minds in town, and the rest of the engineers were said to be too unstable to work on something as big as this. So the engineers quit their high-paying jobs, received some parts, I'm sure in totally legal way, and went to work. They had hidden away and built the thing for over a year, but in January 2009, when everyone had forgotten about the whole thing, they had finally reappeared, carrying a box the size of a small cow, covering in a black sheet. The scientists looked unclean, unshaved, very skinny, and as pale as the snow on the ground. They looked like they hadn't slept or eaten in days, but I saw something else, a look of fear in their eyes. Like they were nervous about something. I figured it was just fretting over its year-long project would fail, and it would all go to waste. As they brought it to the town park, as where all the spacecrafts were launched, all of them looked off the black sheet to reveal what looked like a random jumble of metal pieces, along with a round... Wait, where'd it go? Along with a round black orb on top of it. Tons of skinny landing legs. I wasn't so sure about this thing taking off at all, let alone landing where they wanted it to land. Someone in the large crowd asked what the oh my god, I can't talk right now. Asked what the black orb was on top. The presumed leader of the engineers replied in a quite raspy whisper, as if he lost his voice or just had talked in a long time. Microphone. He didn't look at the one who asked the question, just off into the distance, like he was plotting the path the spacecraft would take. With the monitoring device in his hand, he launched. Everyone cheered, but the scientists just looked up into the sky with tears in their red eyes, before looking at the device for what seemed like 20 minutes. Then one of them said, in the same raspy whisper, that the craft had broke the atmosphere and gone into the outer space. None of them smiled. The crowd cheered yet again, even louder and longer this time, as their small town had finally achieved something great. During this celebration, I was wondering why the engineers were so sad, angry even, spiteful. Maybe they were really tired to grow to hate their device after working on it for over a year. Either way, I was convinced that they were even smarter and better than the people at NASA now. Just 4 people in a year building such a small yet functional spacecraft. This was truly amazing. This wasn't included in the news or published anywhere. It was just a small town thing. I thought maybe the satellites could detect the small ship, but it was far too small and probably would have been thought of as just space debris. In 2011, the spacecraft had come back to our town, landing almost exactly where it took off, in the park. Everyone's amazement that it had come back in full force, as 3 of the engineers went over to it. The 4th one had gotten his job back and had to work today, happy and healthy again after taking a break for over 2 years to collect the data. They inspected the ship, looked to see what had broken, etc., considering the landing on Mars, and came back. It was in great shape. But when the scientists went over to the microphone, and it stated, they got the palest and scared look in their eyes again. No one wanted to be the one to take out the audio recorded in it and listen to it. "Maybe we should wait for him to get back," one of them said, referring to the engineer at work. To speak of the devil, 10 seconds later, he came driving in his car to check it out. Again, the engineer saw the microphone and instantly had a look of panic. It was time. It was about 2 weeks before the audio was revealed, and it was just over 3 minutes long. Only one of the engineers went to talk about what they had heard, and how they had cropped the original 4-hour-long recording. What he had said horrified me. The first scientist, the self-proclaimed leader of the group, had plugged his ears and screamed only about 8 seconds into playing. He was crying and seemed to be hallucinating when he had heard and screamed for it to stop. When it did, he had left the building they were all in, and he had been missing and not picking up his phone for the last 2 weeks. 2 of the other ones had lost all bodily control when the 4th engineer skipped halfway into the recording, involuntarily urinating, defecating, having seizures. One lost the ability to breathe properly and had subsequently died, while the other is still alive but had been sent to a mental asylum, and has lost the ability to communicate. By this point, many in the crowd were crying and were scared due to the speakers next to him, ready to play the 3-minute cropped recording. Many had ran out of the crowd into their home to plug their ears and hide. The scientist mumbled, "Cowards," under his breath. Then someone in the crowd asked the question what we were all thinking. "But how were you affected by it?" The engineer smirked, clearly feeling perfectly fine, even happy despite the death, disappearance, and insanity of his peers. I would have expected him to be pale and scared, but he was confident and grinning the entire time. "He calmed me. I feel more pure now, ready to do anything. In fact, the part I cropped is my favorite. The part at the end makes me feel the best. People may have very mixed reactions to it. Here, why don't you just turn on the speakers?" And I didn't let him finish. I ran to the front of the crowd where he was talking, grabbed the speakers and the audio player he had in the disc in. I ran, and I ran without thinking, without going to my house, just running straight. I wasn't going to let the absolute maniac get to me. I ended up midway into the local woods, crying and screaming, not able to keep quiet. I took the CDO out of the audio player and stamped and kicked the rest of it to destroy it. I put the disc in my pocket and sneaked to my house. I am here, almost 4 years later, listening to the disc that I had completely forgotten about. When I got into my house that fateful day, I played the CD ready to die, go insane or anything, because I was so damn scared that nothing mattered anymore to me. The thing didn't cause me to go crazy or kill myself. It just filled me with dread and made me feel paranoid, like I was being watched while listening to it. Now that I listened to it again, it fills me with the same effect, getting worse the more I focus on the sounds of Mars. But if I am distracted, it's not that bad. I cannot let anyone listen to this, though. There's way too much risk for horrible things to happen. I don't know why these things happen due to listening, but I don't want to find out. The maniacal engineer was apparently killed by being trampled by the large crowd. Now the neighborhood has no engineers, much less astronomical engineers. Sure, the average income is down, and we don't get to watch spacecraft take off every month, but at least things like this won't happen anytime soon. And that was The Sounds of Mars. I like that creepypasta a lot. I read it a couple years ago. Yeah. I'm so glad to start off a new year with my friends and family. May our year be blessed and fruitful. Let us grow together as friends, family, and community, and always support each other, always. I say amen to that. I second that 100%. Anyways, guys, I'm getting kind of tipsy. I want to go to bed because I'm tired. Get some snacky boys, watch some Black Mirror. I hope you guys have a good rest of your New Year's. I hope you party hard, get drunk, but drive safe and be responsible, please. Thank you guys so much for being part of this community and just making the end of my year
awesome. I love you guys, and I will continue to try to make good content for you. Yeah. Before my brain dies. Mwah. Anyways, good night. Happy New Year.